So I want to kickstart this conversation by talking about systems. It's something that I was thinking about. We all operate within some form of system. At a personal level, you put systems in place, something that you're going to follow through on an everyday basis to make your life more efficient, to make certain progress in certain areas of your life. You wake up in the morning, you do exercise. From there, you brush your teeth, you bath, have a cup of tea, go to work. A business operate within a system. It requires efficient people to run that system. Government operate a system. The entire world came to a halt during 2019 because of COVID, of the pandemic that had affected the entire world. You then realize whenever something of urgency comes in play like this, governments apply certain systems, certain structures to try and safeguard the spread of this disease. And one of it was a curfew. You had a time to go to the shops, get home. You can't visit your relatives. Everything got super disrupted. For those who did not follow the system or the structure that was set in place, you would either get jailed, but you definitely would get into trouble of some sort, because we operate within a system. Even in the Word of God, God did not create the world in one day. He woke up, he created, and that was first day. Second day, he did exactly the same thing. Third day, he did exactly the same thing, though he was applying his energy in different facets of creating the world. That's a system. Christians, you wake up, you pray in the morning, you pray in the evening, you study the Word of God. That is a system. The Muslims have their own system. Lunch hour, they close the shops, they go for prayer. So all these are systems that are governing our lives. But there are those who are able to follow through with their systems. I'll focus on the system of your personal life. When the year started, you written down resolutions. I'm going to exercise X amount of times a day or a week. A business is structuring a strategy. You set your goals, then you break it down into tactical activities that you achieve on an everyday basis. You need the right people in the right positions in order for these systems to be functional. Without systems, we all crumble. We'll never accomplish what we are supposed to accomplish. But on top of that, what is of great importance to integrate is consistency. There is no system that operates without consistency. When a system is set up in place, this will make you either succeed or fail at your goals if a system is not followed up on. Be it on a personal level, I want to lose weight. I want to be number one in my school. I want to, improve my financial position. Then you set some goals. You have some steps that you put in place to say, okay, I'll follow this today, I'll follow it tomorrow, and the day after, and so forth and so forth. If that is not followed up on, when the year comes to an end, you will notice that you will be in the same place where you started off. The same thing with a business. Every year we continually make goals. Okay, maybe last year was not so great, so you adjust your goal downwards or upwards, or you're optimistic that this is a great year. You set yourself for a big figure that you want to achieve, but at the same time, you put structures, you put systems in place. And you are confident that the team that you have is competent enough to handle the task that is at hand. And every single day, each person goes out and do their work, be it its accounts, be it sales, be it administration, HR. Every department has to, all hands on deck, each one having to apply and operate within their system to make sure the business succeed at the end of the year. If someone sleeps on the wheel, it means the company will suffocate. If, let's say, the economy is not really shaping up to the visions or the goals that you would have set, you would need then to go to the system and restructure it. Right? But the most critical component, ingredient to make that system function is consistency. And that's what we are focusing on today. The system of your life to be successful, it requires consistency. Your business systems to produce results that you're expecting, it requires consistency. The right people and consistency to make sure those people are doing the work that needs to be done in order to achieve your goals. Consistency will help us move forward, will help us evolve, becoming a different breed. Wishful thinking, on the other hand, will remain wishes and dreams which never produce anything. You don't desire greatness. You don't desire a great marriage. You don't desire money. If the world was a genie where you just call, you just flip your finger and money shows up, well, that would be an awesome world. You don't desire good grades. You don't desire courtship. You see a girl that you like, you have to go and ask them out, isn't it? Everything in life wants you to work hard, wants you to work consistently hard at it. You tell a girl you like them, that's not going to be sufficient. You have to constantly approach them and continue making sure they know that you are serious about wanting to be with them. Sometimes it takes months, sometimes it takes years, but you want to get your goal of being in a marriage with that particular person. It requires consistency. Are you being consistency in your life's journey? There are goals that you have put in place. There's a structure that you have set up to say, this is how I'm going to do things in 2024. It's now coming to an end of February. Are you applying? Are you consistently doing the things that you're supposed to do? Are you working hard consistently to make sure your results show up? That will make all the difference for you. You want to get to the finish line. You have to put in the work. You have to consistently do what you're supposed to do 365 days a year. Life will compound for you if you do the work. If you don't do the work, it means you will miss the mark. At some point, you need to review whether you are consistently doing what you're supposed to do in order to achieve the results that you want to achieve. Consistent means showing steady conformity to character, profession, belief, or custom. So there should be some transformation that is happening, some change that is happening. You know, when you go visit your child at school and you're talking to your teacher, we see inconsistency in your child. Sometimes she or he is working hard. Sometimes they are playing. It means that at the end of the day, the result that they are getting is based on their consistency, is based on how they listen to their teacher, how they follow through on their work. But either way, you are consistently in the negativity or you are consistently in the positivity. I want to change my life in a certain direction, but you continue doing exactly the same things consistently, which impact your life negatively. But you are saying you want to be on the positive spectrum of things. It's time to review, isn't it? It's time to see that there's some form of conformity towards achieving what you want to achieve. Consistency is success. Without you consistently operating the system, remember, a system is something that you have to do every single day. What is a game changer, is, are you doing the work every day? Okay, let's talk of a production line. Each person has a task in a production line, be it in manufacturing company, cooking, whatever it is. Everything has a system, has a structure. You need an engineer, you need a packer, you need operators of different kinds to be in a system. A vehicle, the same thing. There's a system that you followed in order for that vehicle to come out. So what then happens is that within that system, if one component is removed, it means you may have a finished vehicle, but you might have a malfunctioning vehicle or a product that is not quality tested to the standard that is expected, because you have removed the person who is responsible for quality. But when that system is in place, then you need that consistency of doing exactly the same things every single day. We all go to work and we grind exactly the same thing. You have an accountant, you're simply doing accounts. You're simply doing it every single day. If you're a marketing person, you are constantly going out there talking to people. There's no time that you're saying, oh, let me go and do accounts, when your job or your competence is talking to people. You consistently do that thing that you have been employed to do. So that is consistency. So apply this to your personal life, to your personal goals, the things that you want to do. There are things that you then set up in your life. I want to do this. That requires you to continue grinding, doing exactly the same thing every single day until you reach the finish line. For me, consistency, I have defined it as repeating your disciplines until you get the results you want. You grind on your disciplines every time. So I want to exercise. I want to be fast in my cycling. I have to continue, working at it every day. It's not like I'm going to work on the same rhythm. I have to continue pushing my body to a point where my legs speed much faster. We have what is called RPM, revolution per minute. So that is how something is spinning. So in cycling, we also have that, whereby the faster you spin your legs, that is the faster you go. But then you need to maintain that speed. It may be 90 RPM, 100 RPM, and continually spin for longer periods of time. Then you notice you get faster. So every time you get on your bike, you are not just consistently riding in the same rhythm. You need to continue riding in different rhythms. Sometimes you go to 60 RPM. Sometimes you push it up to 100 RPM. Sometimes you maintain 90 RPM. That is how you are then building that rhythm of progress. Then now, the more you push yourself, the more you better your legs at spinning, that is the more you're going to move forward. That is how you become faster. That is how you become more competitive. That in a championship, you're able to sustain yourself, be repeating the same things, the same disciplines, the same habits every single day. There is nothing complicated about our lives. You see someone gaining progress and you are not gaining progress. It comes back to this thing that we're talking about. Are you consistent enough to grow? There are people I used to cycle with and they were slower than me, but now they are faster. I can't even cycle at the same speed because they've been consistent in working on their craft. You want to lose weight, you don't just exercise one day, Then you go to sleep and you think, oh, okay, my weight is working. No, but you consistently do exercise every single day. The key word here is consistent. Something that you're going to do repetitively. It's important to start building this character early on in life. Imagine if I do what I know now when I was 20 years old or in my 30s. Imagine where I would have been and the things that I would have accomplished. I would have accomplished great things. But it's never too late to begin to see change and transformation in your life from the position where you are, because you have started to build consistency in everything that you're doing. You should be someone who is reliable. There are people that okay, if I ask this person to do a certain activity, they'll get it done with flying colors, not just doing it for the sake of, oh, this is a task, I just need to do it. They'll do it with flying colors. And you always hear, that person is consistent. When you say, let's meet at 5 o'clock, they will never come at 5:01 or 5:05. They will be there exactly 5 o'clock. That's consistency right there. So it becomes part of you, part of your character. When you look, there are certain areas that you are consistent. Like I said, you can be consistent in the negative. You are known, this one, he comes with whatever time he wants. Because that's how you have defined yourself. There's someone who is known for shouting. When they talk to their colleagues, the voice is always high. You can't control. I'm one of those person. You just shout, you just get into an angry position and start talking and saying the wrong words, which you regret later. But if you decide to change and become intentional, become aware of areas that you need to improve on, then you begin to consistently work on yourself to improve. You will be known as a timekeeper. You will be known as a learner. There's certain skills that we have to build which just require consistency. I was reading about this lady who writes, I think she has a newsletter online and she goes to work. But she committed that every morning for 2 hours, just 2 hours every single day, I'm going to write an article. It may be completed or not, I'm not so sure. But every single day for the next 2.5 years, she was writing articles, writing out and put them out there. Writing articles and put them out there. She did not wait for perfection. All she knew is, I have to write articles. But I'm positively sure during that journey of writing, she continued learning and developing herself, that she began to realize results 2.5 years later. It took just less than 6 months to hit the high numbers of followers of her work. And that became a game changer. Her net worth increased because of consistency. Yet sometimes you can't even commit 30 minutes to reading, to self-development. Imagine you just commit 30 minutes out of your entire day to just learning and reading and improvement. Consistently doing it, day in, day out, whether it's Sunday, it's Saturday, you commit yourself, I'm going to do this thing. Sometimes you fall short, yes, but you continue rising up and continue pushing through. You may not see immediate results, but when you continue pushing, eventually you experience better outcomes. It's important for those with kids, you have siblings, it's important to learn consistency. waking up early in the morning, exercising. Inbuild these things within our children. They will grow up to be exceptionally great in their crafts or whatever they put their minds on because of that foundation. That is one foundation which our parents managed to instill in us. I used to go to boarding school, but every time I finished boarding school, I was shipped to the raw areas. So when I get to Kumusha, I was very frustrated and angry with my mother. Why is she doing this to us? This is some form of abuse. That's how I would look at it. But years later, now, when I look at that work ethics that she instilled in me, it's really helping me to see things in a different light. Every time I see situations, my mind begin to work. I don't look at a problem and get more frustrated. When I look at a problem, there's something that switches on to solve a problem. Because there was a level of consistency that was instilled in me. I remember we used to go, when we are there, you are given some, we used to do maize meal. We had these big pieces of land where we cultivate and plant our crops. So I remember we just used, in the morning, you leave the house at 5 o'clock in the morning. You get home at 1 p.m. You bath, you do exactly the same thing the following day. That's how it was. And you are given a number of lines. If you finish your lines early, then you go home early. If you don't finish, you might even stay beyond the 1 p.m. mark that we were supposed to be in the field. That's how it was. But it built a certain level of I knew, okay, every time we close schools, we are going to the raw areas. We do exactly the same thing over and over again. Now that I'm older, I can apply these principles in my life, in my business, and I can instill it in my kids. Because hard work pays off. My mom is a very smart woman. It wasn't about just grinding. It was working smart. And that's what shapes us. That's what propels us forward to be in a position of consistency. Consistent action creates consistent results. Consistent sleeping continue producing slumber and empty pockets. Hard work consistently will produce after its kind. There's no way a lemon tree is going to produce some sweet mangoes. Only a mango tree can produce mangoes. So we have to shift our mindsets to knowing that I have to be consistent in life. I have to be consistent in whatever that I've put my mind on by doing. Because at the end of the day, it's more doing than it's having a plan or having a system on paper. The doing make you know whether the system is working or not. You can make changes to a system when people are putting their minds and their hearts to work. And sometimes you will fail. You can be consistent in wanting to achieve whatever goals, but sometimes you will fail. Tough luck if that girl says no and the no is no. Tough luck about it. Move on and apply your skills somewhere else. You will fail at it. But that's not the end of the road. I want you to hear the statement from Thomas Edison. I didn't fail 1,000 times. The light bulb was the invention with 1,000 steps. Thomas Edison said, I did not fail 1,000 times. There are many times when you go online trying to cook how many times it fails. Others said 2,700, others say 5,000. Different numbers are there. But all there is to it is Thomas Edison had to fail so many times until he produced a working bulb, a working invention. How is that? So you have to go through failure. You will go through failure. As long as you're trying and you're putting effort to achieve greatness, to achieve something, you go through failures, you go through obstacles. But when you're faced with those obstacles, what you do is going to be most important. Are you going to remain consistent, doing what you're supposed to do? Or are you going to fold your hands? So many great men who achieved greatness went through the same process. Steve Jobs, building a great company called Apple and losing it. Went away for another decade and started off other business which became successful because he had a consistent mindset. He applied exactly the same. Nothing changed for Steve Jobs. The same principles that he applied for 10 years are the same principles which he applied in another new business ventures for the next 10 years. And he achieved exactly the same results. That's what consistency does. But when you give up now, you achieve a different result. So every great man you can ever think of, whether in the Word of God, Joseph was consistently. He was consistent in, he knew himself. In everything that he does, he did it consistently. He never changed his character in the face of situations. He was consistent. So you have to be consistent to see result. Even if you don't see that result, you have to be consistent. Because consistent will lead to a good place. There is no doubt that eventually, when you keep doing what you're supposed to be doing, you will see good results coming to pass. That's no rocket science. One of the greatest institutions in the world is the army. The army has a system. They have a system for everything, from doing your bed, from how you handle your gun, to how you dress yourself, how you must look, how your clothes must look. They have a system for everything. It shifts the way you think. You wake up, you're doing exactly the same thing. You wake up, you're doing exactly the same thing. You wake up, you're doing exactly the same thing consistently, and you can become a great Marine, a great soldier, because you are consistently getting pushed and you become the best in your field. So that's what consistency is all about. Eventually, results come your way. But you have to want it bad enough to continue working every single day, every single night, whether people are looking at you, they are not looking at you. That's why I love sports a lot. They stretch you. You feel your body shifting. You feel your legs changing. This past week, I was exercising. I think from Monday all the way to Saturday. I was exercising. Monday, I was cycling. Tuesday, I was cycling. Wednesday, I was cycling. Thursday, I was cycling. I think I did almost 200 kilometers of cycling. But in between, I'm also doing no equipment workouts or doing my jogs, whatever it is. But at the end of the day, you feel your body shifting. Yes, it comes with some pain, which you also feel, oh my God. You feel pain in certain joints because certain muscles are expanding. But when you push beyond that pain now, the other side is super beautiful. You enjoy the outcome when you push yourself through the pain consistently. Because that's what life requires you to do. Otherwise, you live a mediocre life. I'm so passionate about the finish line. If anyone of you who is listening to this is hungry enough, it's guaranteed the outcome is awesome. The most important is just to show up. Can you show up and do the work? Go above and beyond. Stretch yourself. Just like in elasticity, you are stretching it, you are pulling it, you are pulling it, you are pulling it. Every time you are stretching yourself, you are stretching your mind, you are stretching your body. It will do things that you don't understand how you would have done it because of consistency. Usain Bolt has got the best record in the world. And so far, they've failed to beat that record. He stretched himself. You will never break. If you do something every single day, harnessing your skills, working on your skills, you continue stretching. You will stretch. The last time you were stretching this far, but before you know it, you are stretching this far. You will continuously stretch and become better because of consistency. Time is your ally. One thing that I've understood is life is compounding. Everything is addition. Everything is multiplication. It compounds. Don't ever think the little progress that you made today is nothing. It compounds to something. You may not see anything that is mapping together nicely, but you can only see it later on in life. So you have to work at it. Sometimes you're told, go to this education for those who are young. Or you decide to do certain things. You had a degree that you were told to do by your parents. You decide to do something else. And in combination, it culminates to something magnificent, which you don't understand. You can only understand when you would have lived through life. To say, what I went through that time, it amounted to me knowing this or having this kind of understanding. But when you're going through that process, it did not make sense. So let's consistently push, let's consistently stretch. Because consistency will bring evolution. You will never be the same. You are consistently changing by the decisions you are making, by the activities that you apply in your life. I always refer to cycling because it's something that I'm passionate about. It's something that I know. Right now, I'm in a place where I have to be consistent. In fact, I am consistent. I've committed myself to work on myself to become a faster. It's no longer a health thing. I'm fit enough, but it's now something that I want to do to make my legs go faster so that when I get in a race, I'll be able to hit the gold. So everything will come down to consistency, my training regimen, how I'm going to structure myself to make sure I reach the finish line. So let's go out there and be consistent. Adapt and evolve. There are things that you start doing and you don't even know where they'll lead you to. But over time, they start yielding results. You shouldn't be stuck in a consistency loop. I would rather say you shouldn't be stuck in mediocrity. Sometimes we do things without really putting our minds, our desire, our energy into it. We do it because I have to. That is a loop that is not going to help you achieve anything meaningful in life. If you are a teacher, you don't really like teaching, but that's where you are. But in that particular season or time, do your best. Do your best and give your best being an educator. Opportunity will rise up when you are doing and giving your best. But when you become mediocre, I'll just do it because I have to. I'll do it because I have to. That will become a loop without growth, a loop of, of just doing something which doesn't benefit you. But when you're doing something consistently, you have to have a mark of achievement, a mark of something that you expect to see coming your way. Your results should speak for you. If you're doing mediocre, you will notice your results won't be as great, but you meet exactly the same person. How come whatever they're doing is working and mine is not? It comes down to exactly the same thing. Failure to be consistent, because consistency is equals to success. Repeat doing that thing that you don't want to do. But when you do it and still having to find that joy in doing it, you will notice the result that comes your way. They're so beautiful. Because you have to desire self-development. The person that lady I was talking about, who was working on herself every day, 2 hours for 3 years, 2 hours for 3 years, doing exactly the same thing at exactly the same time. So when you see someone like that walking into victory, you thought it was done in front of people. No. Whilst we were sleeping, whilst we were not doing what we were supposed to do, someone was working, someone was busy. So let's go and be busy, working hard and working smart and working consistently. I'll leave you with this statement from Edison, who said, "I have not failed 10,000 times. I have successfully found 10,000 ways that will not work." So you will fail. Yes, you have failed. You have found ways that do not work. But when you continue working, you will find one way, because all you need is one way that works. One way, that all you need. And it will be a game changer for the rest of your life. So are you ready to be consistent? Are you ready to work in 2024 every single day for the next remaining months of this year? Not mediocrity, but working with a commitment to say, let's see where this leads me. I may not be fully motivated, but I will do the work. Because this is no longer about motivation. It's about the disciplines. Are you disciplined enough to do something consistently to see results coming? So we've come to the end of Start to Finish, fueling discipline, focus, and the right mindset. Our job here is to change our minds, is to make sure you develop the disciplines that you need that will take you to where you are supposed to go. Don't lose heart even when you're faced with what you feel is the worst or disappointing moments in your life, continue pushing through it to reach the finish line.